So Corey and I have created several projects and films together in the past, and we were looking for any reason to get together and create another one, but to really make this one on a whole other level. And during the process, we decided to adapt Stephen King's WILLA. And we came up with 5 steps to adapting a book to a film.
Step number 1 would be to find a story that speaks to you. So I read WILLA a while ago. I just really responded to the general atmosphere that Stephen King created with his characters and the setting. And I really just wanted to take the audience for a ride, visually and emotionally. And I felt that WILLA was the best opportunity to do that. Really, you just have to kind of rely on your instincts. What speaks to you? What do you find yourself thinking about days and weeks after you've read it?
As an actor, I really get a feel for the character's growth from the first minute all the way to the end, and have that nice arc of, you know, him kind of like learning a lesson, you know, in all of this, and kind of not only that, but putting myself in the shoes of the character and asking myself questions of what I would do and how would I go about doing it, and then just kind of moving forward with my co-stars just helping me out and driving a really good story forward, especially being an adaptation from Stephen King. I mean, you want to definitely do that justice.
What I really hope people take from this is, and what I think would really be cool, if people walked away from seeing this film with a different perspective on how they view the world. Because I actually found myself doing that after. I found myself kind of living and thinking about the film and the story and actually questioning if things around me are actually real.
So step number 2 is, what is your film?
Is it a short? Is it a feature? Is it a television series? Is it a web series? All of that is going to affect how you tell your story.
If you only have 15 minutes to make a film, then how are you going to structure that? And how are you going to structure your story into being 15 minutes?
Doing a short in particular is kind of a fun opportunity because of the limited time limit. It felt like everything was more urgent. What do you change, keep, and toss?
You kind of need to do a little bit of all of that.
That is going to be the step that you are working on in pre-production, production, and post-production. Because I find once you filter all of your elements through that entire process, then the fat naturally gets chopped away. It falls off.
It's not always about the story in terms of what you decide to keep, change, or toss, because sometimes there are elements that you cannot bring into your story. Like, if in our case we were able to get access to a train for our adaptation, but if you don't have the budget to do so or the ability to gain access to one, you might have to find a different route. And so it's important to see what you have available to you. It's important to look at your resources, look at your crew, look at your cast, and realize what you have to work with. And those are going to make some changes into the story, and that's how you can make it your own.
With the Stephen King adaptation, yes, that was an ongoing conversation. At sometimes it got controversial because you don't want to stray too far away from the story's original intent, but you have certain things that come up or certain ideas that you want to try out, and you know, naturally throughout the whole filming process you have to also rely on the rest of your crew and everyone else whose specialty it is to handle their departments to let you know if there is a better option to accomplish something or a more efficient way to accomplish something. And I feel like we struck a really good balance between efficiency and creativity and establishing the atmosphere that we wanted and the style that we wanted. One thing that you do have to just learn to live with is there's always, you can work on something to death. That's where a hard deadline comes in handy. And especially working with a big company like Deluxe, I don't want to get on their nerves and keep giving note after note. Basically, it's like, if it is my responsibility to make all the best decisions in the moment, and any other decisions that I think of later, it should be on me to have thought of them earlier, or which probably comes with experience, or maybe they're just not that important if I didn't think of it right away.
Step 4 is how do you make it your own? That's important because no two directors are going to make the same film. And with an adaptation, it's important to stay true to the original story, but give it your own voice.
That's something you sort of have to figure out yourself, because like I can't tell you how to make it your own, only you can really do that as a director. So when I was making this story my own, I really just tried to interpret how I felt about the story and what that feeling would look like if it was a picture. Again, it comes down to, that was in part successful due to our amazing cinematographer and his team.
When it comes to adapting a story, I mean, obviously you want to stick with the source material as much as possible because that's what made it great to begin with, and that's what made it catch the attention of the people in charge of it. You know, Corey and Barbara, when they were writing it, you know, WILLA stuck out to them because it's an incredible short story. So obviously they want to stick to that source material. That being said, I mean, as filmmakers, they also very subtly and carefully picked moments to kind of, you know, surprise the audience at the same time. The things they threw in there were, I think, very tastefully done, and I think things that'll really stick with the audience and make them think and reflect deeply afterwards.
So just sort of keep in touch with your feelings. Like you have to like, it's so hard to articulate your own feelings. At least it is for me, and some people are better at it than others, but in order to be like a normal person in society, I think you sort of have to just ignore your feelings and like just go through life or whatever. But being a director, I think you really sort of have to be in tune with what you're feeling about the subject matter you're dealing with or about the performance you're seeing in the monitor.
So step 5 is remember your audience. You need to keep in mind who is going to be viewing your film. They are going to be fans of the book that you adapted it from, and they want that same nostalgic feeling that they had when they originally read it. So, you know, you have to be true to that. You have to be true to them.
Because as much as you're making this film for yourself, you want other people to see it, right? You want them to either enjoy, like our intent is to obviously just entertain people. And I feel like we knew our audience because we are a part of that whole horror community and the Stephen King fan community. We grew up watching these movies, we grew up reading these stories. So we kept asking ourselves, what would we pay to see? Horror fans in particular, they can spot fakes pretty easily. I think they have a good sense of whether you're a fraud or they're highly critical, but some of the most diverse fans and best fans out there. It could work either way. I've seen adaptations work that were completely different from the book, and I've seen adaptations that stuck to it religiously and it worked as well. So it's a gamble, and you know, you don't really get in this business to play it safe, right?
Our film was so special and unique. It was a small independent production, over 100 crew, and we got so much support from our producers. We got support from Indiegogo, from everyone in the grip department, to catering, to craft services, to hair and makeup, electrics. We couldn't have done this without every one of you, and post-production with Deluxe as well. We're so fortunate with this film and everyone who's been a part of it.